Ladies and gentlemen, for my past two-ish posts on YouTube, I have been saying that I'm going to do a high-speed run on this. I finally got everything how I want it, for the most part. I wish these axle extensions were not that loose. I'm probably actually going to end up taking the extensions off of this and putting on the stock tires, or just buy the 7mm to 12mm or whatever they are, the hex nuts that just bolt right on, and that way there's not going to be all that play. And not that it does anything bad when driving, like you'd think that would be like a ton of play. I mean, it looks like a ton of play, it looks dangerous to me, but the thing that I'm worried about happening is with this much speed and this much torque, I'm honestly worried that this little bit of flex is just gonna crank something the wrong way at the wrong time, and it's gonna snap one of these things right off. And then I'm gonna have to go online and order new parts again and replace the broken stuff again, and it's gonna be extremely irritating. I put everything in my last video, my full upgrade list that I just posted last night, I think it was. And I noticed that after I got done editing the video, and after it got done loading and, you know, being completely done, and after I posted it is when I watched it, and I noticed that it cut part of the screen off, so you can't even see part of the letters, which is extremely ridiculous. But nonetheless, the list is there, and you could still read it. And I mean, anybody that has one of these, and anybody who's been upgrading them, knows the parts that are available online. The only part on this that is not built for this is the wheelie bar. It's a full metal wheelie bar, aluminum I'm assuming, with these two rubber wheels on the end. And it fit so almost perfect. I bought it thinking I was going to have to, you know, like drill new holes in it and do all that. And as you can see, let's see if I can get that in the shot. As you can see, the way this thing mounts up, if it'll focus, okay, it's not going to focus, but as you can see, or as you can't see because it's not in focus, but I have 3 of the 4 screws in there, because that 4th one, I tried dremeling it out a little bit to get it to fit, and I ended up just breaking a screw off in there. So rather than dick around with it anymore, I just left it how it is, because it's not like there's that much pressure on the wheelie bar when it goes up into a wheelie. And yes, this thing does wheelie. I had people, oh, you don't need a wheelie bar in that little thing. Like, okay, well, I put that in the video yesterday. Yeah, you do need a wheelie bar because, yeah, it does wheelie. And I'd rather it just ride a wheelie for a little bit and then set itself back down than just flip over and crash and screw everything up. But I have new shocks on the way, because even though these stock shocks, even though they are oil-filled, I bought oil, I put oil in them, and they almost immediately, like within 2 or 3 days, all the oil leaks out of them. So they work great for a little bit, and then the oil leaks out. First time putting this bumper on it, this thing went so fast that it went up into the air a little tiny bit, just enough to break traction off the ground, just enough where I couldn't stop and I couldn't steer, and I smashed directly into a curb. Broke pull rods, broke my steering linkage in there, broke all sorts of stuff, just completely demolished it. But today, the batteries just came off the charger, well, the battery 3S lipo. It's fresh off the charger. Everything is together, everything is working, everything is solid. And I'm going to take it for a full speed run, because I'm also curious to see what the full speed is. Now, I don't have one of those fancy little GPS speed reader things, so what I'm gonna do is wrap my phone. Yeah, I have a $1,300 phone that I'm very, very paranoid about destroying, but I'm going to wrap this phone in this Amazon packaging with a lot of duct tape, and I'm going to duct tape this together, and I'm going to duct tape this to the top of my car. And that is going to be in case I flip the car and roll it, because obviously, as you can see, this is not going to fit under the shell. So it's just going to be on the top. I wish I had one of those little small things. I wish I had some other option other than possibly destroying my personal phone that I use every single day, but I don't. This is all I have. So, see you guys outside. We're recording. You ready? Make sure it's zoomed all the way out. Here, why don't you hold one hand right here? Yep. One hand right here.
Right here?
Yep, like this. Put your fingers wrapped around that. There you go.
So just keep it on the car?
Yep.
That is very cool, though. Ah! Oh, still alive.
Nothing was broke. Hopefully my phone's alive still. You recording it?
Yep.
Why is it pushing off this side now?
Look at that thing going.
Try not to hit you. See what we're looking like. What? That's it? That can't be right.
How much is it?
43. Can you see it?
Yeah. What's wrong with your car? It's off.
Oh, what the hell?
It's all crooked.
Oh, lovely. I just bent the shit out of something. Oh, I bent the shit out of the wheelie bar. What the hell? That's what I hit. I must have hit back first. Oh, that's completely mangled.
It's completely mangled. You know what I'm saying?
The car itself, I think, is alive.
Oh, is your phone okay though?
Looks like it.
So you just bent the crap out of your car.
Well, I bent the wheelie bar, not the whole car. But I bent it back. The wheelie bar was like $10. Not a big deal. Alright, well. I've never used this app before. Grab that so it doesn't blow away. I've never used this app before. I have no idea how it updates. I have no idea if it like has to be at a steady speed for, you know, a while. I know some GPSs are kind of shitty because that definitely looks like a lot more than 43 miles an hour to me. But that's what it says. So now I'm just gonna drive around a little bit till the battery dies and then end this video.
My back hurts. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Here. Oh, it's not that cold out. It's a little chilly, but it's not horrible.
I know that, but my back hurts though. So just time to still focus on the car?
Yep.
Or you?
Both.
Alright, I want the car. I choose car. The car's nice. I like the car a lot. The car's flame, you know what I'm saying?
long for the brakes to work.
Good thing your phone was on it, right?
The foam's coming out of one of the tires.
I think one of your tires is broken.
Yeah, it's driving like it's broken.
Look at this car. Look at that tire. Look at it. You see that tire? Look at that.
It definitely looks bent. It doesn't look right. Something's bent.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, look at the back.
Huh.
Definitely bent. You see it? Right
Yep.
here?
Look at that. It's bent.
That should be kind of easy to bend back, though, hopefully.
Hopefully don't break it. You gotta see this. Look at this.
There. Back to kind of straight.
A little bit.
Oh, that hurts. That's a lot of force to ruin these frickin' things. Yeah, I gotta take that off and completely rebend everything back into shape. These are not very strong cars.
Yeah, but it's freaking fast.
Definitely not bashers.
It's all over there. That was scary.
Yeah, that has to be more than 43. Well, something does not sound right.
I think you broke your car.
Oh, yeah, I completely fried. Wow. Look how bent that pinion gear is. Look in there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You see it?
Yeah. That's crazy. It's bent.
Yeah, it's being completely mangled. Oh man, I completely flattened out all the gears.
You did?
Yep. Well, it's done. This car's ruined.
It'll still drive though, right?
Barely, it's limping.
sounds like it's got ran over.
Yeah, that's it. Ruined.
It's broken. It's broken.
That's it. Wow. I have never seen that before. I'm glad that's all it broke was that.
It also got very, very bent and quick-sighted.
Wow. That's ridiculous. Alright, that's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take it apart when I get inside to show you what it looks like, but holy shit. That's ridiculous. Alright. I've never seen that before. Alright, and I'm back recording with my phone. And as you can see here, that is what happened to my pinion gear. It got completely chewed off. That is ridiculous. So that is what happens when you have way too much power on these little tiny cars. It's gonna damage the weak point. And if I would have had plastic gears in here, it would have attacked the plastic gears, it would have broke the plastic gears. But since I have all steel everything, and you've seen that main gear in there, that actually barely even got scratched, from what I can tell anyway. Wow, that is so nuts. You can see all the powder down there. That's all the... let's see if I can find something to scrape it with. That's all a piece of my pinion gear that apparently was just getting chewed to shit the entire time it was on here. Now, this sucks. It definitely sucks. Because now I am not going to be able to use my car until I get a new pinion. But it's not that big of a deal. Because even though this motor is pretty good... Where's the numbers on it? Oh, they're under there. Surpass Hobby 2440, 3000 kV. I actually bought, because I did not like the, even though it's pretty damn torquey, the motor has to get up to speed a little bit. Like from a complete stop, it's actually a surprisingly little amount of torque. But, you know, I'm all about that budget. I gotta go get that generic But with things like this, you can get generic. I mean, it's a motor. There's not that many parts in here that are all that crazy. Real quick, I just wanted to throw this into the video because I'm editing it right now. Because I already know there's going to be some people that bitch and moan about the fact that I said that you can go ahead and buy a generic because there's not that many parts. Obviously, I am aware that when you go super, super cheap, you're not going to have as high of quality as like a Castle motor or, you know, something like that. Obviously, brand name motors are going to last on average way longer than so cheap generic eBay knockoff that came from some mystery factory in China. Yeah, no shit. We all know that. What I mean by you can go ahead and buy generic is this entire car, even with all the metal upgrades, is like probably 5 pounds. You don't need a ton of power in order to get this car moving. And the way that I have this car set up, it's pretty much just for speed runs. It's for going back and forth in a parking lot, and that's it. This car, even with the way they intended it, it's not a basher. It's not, you know, you're not going to be putting any crazy strain on any of the parts, usually. So if you want to not spend a ridiculous amounts of money on a brand name motor, you are okay to go get some little generic one, and it will work. All right, it's a motor. All it is an aluminum casing, a bunch of copper wires and a coil, some magnets. That's about it. So I don't want to hear any of the nonsense that is always in the comment section. Yes, I know name brand expensive motors are going to last longer and maybe even give you slightly better performance, but I spent $55 on this car stock. All right, this is not a $1,200 X-Max. It's not a car that you want to spend that much money on. You can if you want to, but if you want to go generic, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I opened it up, there's full bearings in here, real bearings. The only thing I don't like is how thin these wires are, and you could feel in there how thin they are. This like black sheeting or whatever the hell is on it, it's like rubbery, first of all, which I hate the way it feels. But second of all, it's like kind of thin wires in there. Well, I mean, they're not thin, they're way thicker than these little scrawny things. Way thicker than those, but they're not as thick as I would be comfortable with. So that is the motor that will be on this. I have a new motor mount on the way from China because I'm all about that, getting the best deal possible. And I could either spend like $1.50 and get an aluminum mount from China, or $6 and get a steel mount from China, or for an aluminum mount in America it was like $14, and for a steel mount it was like $30 if I'm remembering the prices correctly. Don't quote me on that, but you get the idea of the difference. You also get the idea of the difference of how much faster top end this will be, because it's 3000 kV versus 4370 kV, and also the amount of torque that it will have, and the amount of strength that these two drive shafts will have. It is 2.3 millimeter versus 3.175 millimeter. So obviously the thicker shaft on these motors will be way stronger. And I actually do, where's the little white box? There it is. I have so many random boxes of random parts. This, the old pull rods that I destroyed. I'm dropping stuff all over the ground. These are the new pinion gears that I bought. Now, when I bought them, like, these feel really light. Like, they're metal, but they feel like, I don't even know. They don't feel like good quality. Like, usually the weight of it is associated with the quality. And these are not heavy. These are pretty light, actually. The reason why I'm not using them yet and why this other motor is not on here yet is because they fit on the motor perfectly, but the teeth do not line up to that gear down there. So I've had this motor just sitting here, and in the meantime, I've been online looking for pinion gears that will fit, or for a main gear that I could put in here that would fit these teeth. Either way, I don't know, you know, I don't really care which one has to fit and which one doesn't fit. All I care is that it works when I'm done. So anyway, you guys have any recommendations for where to get the correct size Oh, you know what? Look at that main gear. It did chew it up a little bit. I just noticed that. Damn it, now I gotta fucking replace that too. That pinion gear is fucking crazy. I have never seen anything do that before. It just completely destroyed it. You know what I think happened? I think it must have ground them down until they're weak enough to bend. And then one of those high torque, full throttle runs, it must have just bent them all over, because that's what it looks like happened. They don't look broke off. A lot of them look thin and bent over. So that had to have been what happened. I don't know. I'm just rambling now. So let me get this all situated and torn apart, and let me get this video edited. And this will be up on YouTube's probably tonight. Alright. Have a good one, YouTubians.